tighter margins than you could probably possibly realize. Trades kind of suck. We hate buying slabs. Since it's a video about comic dealing, I do have to mention real quick, here's my email down below, that I am buying raw wall books. Very likely that I am going to be paying considerably higher than wherever else you could have gone, so reach out if you got it. All right, guys, I put 20 things that no one tells you about being a comic book dealer. Some of it's positive, some of it's not so great, but it's all something that you probably should hear if you're considering going into this yourself. We're going to have some fun with it. Don't forget about the 50,000 subscriber. I almost just said 30,000. Woo! ASM 300, first Venom in a 9.8. It's coming fast, so you could be the winner. Just comment, subscribe, and like. All right, number one. If you don't have an online presence, you're going to struggle. And I'm actually not even talking about an eBay page or a website. I'm talking about a YouTube channel, TikTok, or seemingly the biggest one in the comic industry is an Instagram page. You gotta have at least an Instagram page. You gotta talk about what books you're getting in. You gotta amass some sort of following. No matter how small, even if you have a teeny tiny pocket of people, you gotta have some sort of social presence. The dinosaurs that don't are falling behind. Number two, it is considerably more cutthroat and a lot tighter margins than you could probably possibly realize. Let's say I do $6,000 in sales in a week. I'm probably profiting like $500. On a good week, I've made $1,000. You're almost always riding a 5 to about 20% profit window. If you're ethically buying, I'm sure we all know a few stores that pay you absolutely dirt. But if you're ethically buying, which most of you should if you want to be successful and if you want return buyers, you are spending up to get good stuff in. And it leaves you with some teeny tiny margins. Number three, nearby shops are your friends. When I opened the antique shop, I remember thinking, is it going to hurt me being 20 minutes from the New Hope shop in Pennsylvania? Not at all. Having more shops around raises all ships. It doesn't hurt you. You got anything you can sell to me a little low? I'm a little low. Or, hey man, I'm out of bags and boards. You got anything? They can scratch your back and you can scratch theirs. It is way more of a good thing than your competition. All right, number four. You won't go a week without paper cuts. Here's one on the tip of my pinky. Here's one right there on my finger. There was a really bad one that still hasn't healed. Yeah, it's between the breaking down of boxes, shipping the 150 packages out a week, just sometimes even moving things around, the constant being around paper, mylar, boxes, cardboard, this, that. You're going to get a paper cut probably every few days. It's not a big deal, but you should just know you're going to have some sort of Neosporin or bacitracin investment pocket set aside. Number five, prepare for more X-Men than you will ever need. While there are some titles I literally don't have a single book of, X-Men is something that I receive and hunt all the time. And amazingly, it still moves decently well. We're going to see X-Force, X-Factor, X-Men, Uncanny X-Men every day of your life for the next 40, 50 years. Number six, you could probably skip back day at the gym. Yeah, even the most doughy, morbidly obese comic book dealer that you know probably has a strangely strong back. No joke. I mean, we're lugging boxes around all the time. We're basically deadlifting constantly. Although sometimes it can lead to back issues, so you gotta stretch, man. If you're over 30, stretch. Number seven, this is actually my least favorite thing about being a comic book dealer. You become the Grim Reaper of bad news, or a sort of horseman of death. That is when you have to tell someone that their collection kind of stinks. Here's another pro tip for you. Never actually say it like that. Sometimes you'll get a collection in and it's total dollar bin books that they think maybe they were misled through time. They thought was going to be a lot better. And you got to be the one to tell them, no, it's not. And you can't even really make an offer on it. I freaking hate doing this. I cannot stress this enough. I hate being that guy. You are going to find some that might be so Dudley that you don't even want for your dollar bins. It does actually happen, and you gotta be the bearer of bad news, and it sucks. I'm supposed to be Mr. Fun Entertainer YouTuber guy, and here I am having to tell someone that their collection is almost worthless. Not fun. All right, number 8. Get ready to break even a lot for a number of reasons. Sometimes you're actually intentionally breaking even. Kind of strange, but sometimes you're actually buying so high just to get something in your shop that'll get people's eyes on the other stuff. Sometimes you buy something a little bit high and the market comes down, and now you're kind of lucky to break even. Cut your losses, it does happen. If you dropped $1,000 on a book, you can't just hope that you're going to get at least $1,000 back if the market now says that it's a $500 book. Number 9 is another sucky one. You can lose some magic. So you can become numb to certain books, even some fairly big books. There's also plenty of books that I do see a lot that I don't get numb to. But there's a lot of books that I've just had so many times that I can't get excited about it anymore. And that kind of sucks. So you really should be aware of that going into this. Number 10 is a positive one. Your knowledge is about to explode. You think you knew a lot about comics before. All you have to do is be a professional comic dealer for a year and you'll know so much, man. Also, it's going to keep that new comic book knowledge fresh. I always thought that I'd have a hard time knowing key significance in the last 5-10 years. Are you kidding me? I know all that stuff just as well as I know 70s, 80s, and 90s now. And it's just from dealing in this stuff so often. Number 11, the little touches go really far. One thing I do is I put key issue stickers. I make them custom on stickermule.com. I pop them on all comics that are a key when I'm doing the rebagging and boarding. In fact, if I try to cut costs and skimp out on the key issue stickers, I have actually gotten messages that say, hey, what happened to the key issue stickers? It's these little touches that you can do as a dealer. Maybe slip a business card in your thing. Maybe double box. Whatever your thing is, people will remember you for that little gimmick, and they're going to love it. Next is your post driver and your FedEx delivery dude. They're going to hate you. What can I say? I try to tip them. I'm out there making jokes with them. I try to be as friendly as I can be. I do drop-offs all the time. Some weeks it's 20 packages. Some weeks it's 200. It doesn't matter. I just know they are talking smack about me behind my back. I know they have to hate my guts. I just know it. Keep a good relationship with them. Be good to them. They'll be good to you. If you're not, you might get a couple broken packages. This is a big one. I want to talk about market value versus a niche value and oversaturation. The market value might show that a book consistently sells for $20 if it's a perfect copy raw. But if you and your small audience, if you keep getting that same book over and over again, the market may say it's $20. No one's buying it from you for $20 because you've already exhausted your market. Now enjoy that into negotiations where someone has all these great books that are solid $10 and $20 and $30 movers, but you've just had them so many times that they don't move for you anymore, and you have to explain that you just can't be at that high. Good luck with that one. So you got to always try to keep new people coming in so you don't oversaturate your people. Next one is trades kind of suck. They rarely work out. Let's say you have a $5,000 book that's very desirable, and someone says to you, hey, I'll trade you, here's $7,000 worth of stuff for your $5,000. On paper, that sounds great. It's not actually great because you have one thing that all it takes is one afternoon, someone buys it, done, $5,000 sale. Now you've got 30 things that makes up $7,000. That's all this time that you have to reinvest in reposting it, rephotographing it, getting it back up there. Your time is valuable, people, and it's almost always the case that it's not easy movers like that one, and it's hard to move crap. $7,000 of difficult inventory will never equal the same as $5,000 of a solid-ass book. The next one you should know is all of us that are comic book dealers, we hate buying slabs. I don't know if that's the case for dealers that will pay rip-off prices, but for all us dealers that are ethically buying, we're probably getting pretty close to that fair market value just to get these slabs in. This is not a raw book. This has been a fully realized price. You can track down a very specific peak value number for that book. There's nowhere else for it to go. It's a 9.8. You know exactly what it costs. And to get it in, you got to spend $170 to get like a $200 slab in. Here's the problem with that. If you pop it on eBay with free shipping and something, you're already losing 15%. You're breaking even. When I do slab sales, I'm at least 10% off on everything. The last slab sale I did is 20% off. Damn near 80% of what I sold was a break-even price. We hate buying slabs. It's just that simple. The slab buying game doesn't really work unless you're paying like scumbag prices. I will say there are benefits to buying slabs where, yes, you could profit even though it's really thin. You can get some really big books in and it helps to get eyes on other stuff. But that's about it. I hate buying slabs and everybody does. I still will because I have to be buying. I have to be buying in order to keep the business going. But I kind of hate it and everybody does too. All right, don't buy statues. Yeah, I have never made a dime on any statue you see. Nope, you do not make a dime. Kind of like the slabs though, it's huge eye candy and it looks amazing in your shop. So sometimes you have to. We've already talked about how you sometimes break even and lose money. Here's the thing though, you try to not do that too much. And if you're just buying statues, yeah, it's going to happen. Now, I know guys that make money on statues. I don't know how they actually do it, but I do know them. Number 17, it can happen to you. You think it can't? And I'm talking about scams here. Oh boy, you're going to get scammed like once a month. Someone lying about books. It sucks. It's probably only 1 in 100, but you know when it happens and it sticks with you. So don't think it can't happen to you. I guarantee you it's going to be very common. You will learn how to adjust with that and you will do things to minimize that happening. Like I do video receipts now. I have cameras all over the place in my office, in the antique shop, but it can still happen through eBay or whatever. So just watch out for scumbags. 18, if you don't take risks, you'll probably not succeed. You actually have to. I don't like being a risk taker. I don't think this hobby should be gambling. And by that I mean like speculating things. But when I talk about risks is, okay, CGC's taken a while. Do I sell it raw or do I submit this to get graded? I think it could be a perfect grade. You might have to wait the 6-7 months for it to get back to you just to see if you can get the perfect grade. You gotta try. It might have been worth it, and there you go. You have to take some small risks in here to really get going. Oh, you want to start having brand new books? Okay, it's a little risky. Again, really tight margins there, but you gotta take a risk. You gotta try something new to give your customers something different. Number 19, I want to explain just how bad non-payers are at a live auction. The margins are so tight in this game that if you make $5,000 at a live sale, you've spent the whole week leading up to this sale, $5,000, your profit was probably only like $1,000 if you're lucky on all that stuff. Now let's say just $200 went to some dude who still hasn't paid his invoice. Here's why that's even worse than how it seems. Now you have to put more time back into reselling that stuff. This guy was the first person to claim it where other people wanted it, so it missed out on going to customers that would have happily paid for this stuff. So you missed out on an opportunity there. And then you now have to show those books again. And again, every time you show these books, it's now the second the third, the fourth time you've showed this book. It's not as attractive if you've shown a book 50 times. So you don't want to have to re-show stuff. You have to put now books that you've already heavily discounted just to get them to move. You might have to drop them even lower to get them to move again because now they're known as, oh, this guy didn't pay for his books. A very unfortunate example, this past weekend's claim sale, I had 6 newcomers. 4 of those newcomers so far, just so far, have not paid, which actually means that I did not profit from all of last week because of these 4 newcoming non-payers. And now, at the next claim sale, I have to resell. Yay. All right, and number 20, I wanted to end on a much more positive note. You are going to make a million friends in this hobby. You're going to make a lot of business connections too, but you're going to make friends. I can't tell you how many times I've stayed late at the antique shop just to shoot the shit and talk some comic books with some dude that might have come out of town or something, and we just have a blast. Some people that you see over and over again, you'll develop a really good friendship with them. I get invited to dinners from people that used to be customers. I've even been to concerts with some of these guys that were just dudes that bought some comics from me one time. And that's the best part of it, is just meeting the people and just having a blast with it. That will never get old. That just seems to get a lot better and is easily the best part about being a comic book dealer. So all in all, there's a lot of risk. There's probably a fairly low success rate to being a comic book dealer. It takes a lot of guts, grinding, and grit to get it done. There's going to be a lot of sleepless nights for sure, a lot of 80-hour work weeks. But there's some things you just should know, and maybe you hadn't heard it, so thought we'd talk about it today. If you can think of anything else, drop it in the comments. I'll see you at the next video, and keep on hunting.
Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles, located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.